Interpretation of step 1, 2 and 3. Step 1, most important thing that we need to admit is it's a we program. So we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. The main important to me is the we program. I can't do it on my own. I need you lot, I need the program, I need the fellowship, and I need to admit, you know that before I can even move anywhere into step 1. Admitted, I have to admit the depth of my addiction, the lengths I've gone to in my addiction, the damages I've caused. Most important is we do have power today. It's whether we want to use that power. We are powerless over other people, places and things, but we do have a power where we can put it into it if we want to. Powerless, like I say, we are powerless over places, other people, things out of our control, but we do have power that we can put into it if we feel fit to do that. Unmanageable, I can still be unmanageable today. Unmanageability, it can be internally and externally, it can be your bills, your feelings, your emotions. The problem for me, powerlessness is the main one. Once I pick up a drug, I set off a phenomenal craving. I set off a craving where I just can't put down the drugs. I'm powerless over my ex-missus, for an example. What she thinks and feels and what she does. I'm powerless over a lot of areas of my life. Denial that I'm not an addict. Denial that comes in for me every day, that I can do it on my own. Denial where, denial's a massive one really. But denial is more that I'm an addict for me. I have to remember daily that I'm an addict, that I suffer with disease of addiction. That disease in myself, that irritableness, that restlessness and that discontentedness of NA that we know and we learn about in NA. Unmanageability, I can be unmanageable with bills, I can be unmanageable with feelings, I can be unmanageable with my mental health, I can be unmanageable with a lot of areas that I still struggle with today, to be honest with you, but I am getting better, but I am trying my best to become manageable of even my thoughts as well. Positivity, in my recovery. Reservation, massive one for me. One that I hear us all talking about is our parents passing. Something I have to work on daily to try and get strong enough. I want to be there and I want to stand. I don't want them ever to pass away, but I want to stand at my parents' funeral and be there clean, and be. It's one of the things I aspire to get through in my recovery. But if something happened to my kids, that's another one that I'd struggle with. I've got quite a few reservations. Rock bottom, we all know what rock bottom's like. I've had many in the time when I was homeless at 29. Using recently over COVID, at 4 o'clock in the morning, that obsession on me, that compulsion on me to use, that I'd ring the dealer as soon as I woke up. I'd text the dealer, I'd get a can of beer and I'd drink a can of beer, I'd smoke a joint and next thing I'd be taking speed. Surrender, I surrendered on my knees about 8 months ago. I surrendered in the caravan when I was homeless and I got 7 years in, but I surrendered when I tried everything. I tried Zoom, I tried doing reading literature, I tried praying to God, I tried everything. I just couldn't stop using, and I got on my knees and I was broken, and that's when Carl sent me a message, and it just magically happened where he said to me, no matter what, I've got you a bed here, Simon. He didn't know about my mental health stuff that I'm unmanageable with, but he knew that I'd have recovery before. Self-will, self-will's massive for me. I have to try and do it in a loving and a caring way, so it's about other people and practice a program. I do use God myself, so I do use God's will, but I know more because my head's so busy, I get more connection through you guys, through applying the program, through working 12 steps, and by thinking about other people. Justifying, that's massive for me. I did it recently after having 8 months in with Red Rose and with Love. I justified using it at a barbecue. I deserved to have a beer, but I knew full well once I got a beer, I'd drink a crate. Once I drunk a crate, I would smoke weed, and once I smoked that joint, I would pick up speed or coke. Spiritual principles for me for step one are being open-minded. Open-minded that we can recover, open-minded that the programme will work for us. Being willing to go to any lengths for recovery. Being honest with ourselves and with our peers, you know, how. Being honest with our higher power and being honest with our families is massive for me. Step two. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Again, the main thing is we. You know, it's a we programme, so I need you guys, I need a power greater. This step's massive with the solution, you know, but we came to believe, you know, when I first came to N829, it wasn't God. I was disconnected from God. It was more the conscience of you guys and had more knowledge of me. When I went to a meeting, in Blackpool, and I saw people I'd used with, and it gave me faith, and it started to work through the literature. It still does do today for me personally. That's how I get to my connection to my higher power, but I do practice my principles of God myself personally. A power greater, you know, to me, I'm not going to hide it, is God. It's you guys. You know, I'll got to that in a minute actually. That ourselves could restore. So we get restored through doing the steps. We do get restored, and we do have different degrees of spiritual awakenings. I did have, when I got up to a step 10 last time, some spiritual awakenings. I remember a guy in Blackpool, Andy, a mate of mine, used to say that you can have a spiritual awakening when you're on step one. Your spirit awakens and opens throughout the steps. Sanity, you know, having peace of mind. Something I does my head in with mental health and with addiction, even being clean. I try and get sanity in the day, and I try not to sort of voices in my head. I try to pass things over to God. I often go to my room and pray and think, just give me the faith. I've been doing it this morning, to be honest with you, not just over this, but the way I feel at the moment. You know, sanity is massive in this step. We come to believe, so, you know, main important thing there is we don't just believe straight away. It's a process. We come to believe in God or in a higher power, whether it's, you know, people that passed in your life you believe in, or whatever it needs to be. That a power greater than ourselves, that's God for me, that works through NA, works through meetings, works through literature, works through my sponsor, works through Elisha House as well, works through my peers, definitely, and works also through church. As you know, I've been baptised recently, which was massive for me to admit that and to go to them lengths to do what I did at church, you know, do a testimony and stuff. It was very scary, but that all comes because I've got faith in God. I'm not going to go into, you know, gang of druggies and all the other stuff, 'cause that's not my thing, you know, good orderly direction, you know, but God is what I pray to. Restore to sanity, you know, it comes over a period of time, you know, not taking drugs, we become more reliant on a power greater, we become more calm, we become more serene, and the programme starts to work, and we become more sane, and we become more, we can get restored to sanity through working the 12 steps, by, you know, our literature, and by NA, by the meetings, by our sponsor, and by Elisha House, you know, and peers and church again. Believe, you know, it can be whatever you want it to be, you believe in. It's not just about God, it's about believing in yourself, you know, believing that you've got what it takes to make it, you know. A lot of us fall by the wayside, and we see a lot of people leaving. We see a lot of people go down. There's nothing that can't say that also in the group here today can't have a good success rate, and you've got to believe in yourself that we can do it. We can stick together, you know, we can stick with our peers, we can stick with our meetings, and we can stick with the belief that we can make it, and, you know, we can be the high success rate that goes through Elisha this period. That's what I believe. We've got a good group at the moment. Open-minded, you've got to be open-minded to try things new. You know, if it's not God for you, then you know, I would recommend, for me, you know, I'll keep it personal. For me, if it's not God for you, that's your own choice. But for me to be open-minded, I do things in a day. I read a bit of literature in the morning. I pick a card that my mum sent me, which is little reading cards. I try to apply principles, not just of NA, not just to the literature, but of God, to be open-minded for my relationship for God to grow. I hand things over to my higher power, and I also go and I don't get on my knees. I don't get on my knees, to be honest with you. I just sit on the chair and I hand things over, and I be open-minded that he listens, and I have to be open-minded in stuff. And when I go to church, things happen. I get messages, I get little spiritual moments when I go to church, to be honest with you. Being willing to recover, being willing to go to any lengths, being willing to believe in other people, being willing to believe in Elisha House. Honest, you know, being honest with yourself is most important, you know, where you're at, where you're moving forward in your recovery. Being honest with your family, with your friends, being honest, even trying to pay bills and being a productive member of society. Having hope that you can do it. Having hope in your peers, having hope in Elisha House, having hope in the steps, you know, that we can get restored to sanity. And having trust as well in Elisha, and having trust in you guys, having trust even sharing this, that, you know, that the 12 steps are going to work for us, and that our higher power, for me, God, and all of these are going to keep me from falling on the wayside. And faith for me is just God, to be honest with you. And spiritual principles on this again are open-minded, willing, honest, God, for me personally. And the power, that's my power greater. That's my interpretation of step 2. Step 3, we made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So I've done this a little bit into a 180 turn in our lives. What we have to do is we have to turn everything around 180 turn. Again, it's a week programme. You know, I cannot do this on my own. I need you guys, I need the fellowship, I need God, I need everything that's not me, self-centred, egotistical, narrow-minded, untrustworthy, you know, for all this self-will that I am. And I make a decision, so I made a decision to come into Elisha and work on myself. I made a decision when I started to work step 3 to turn things over and to have faith that my baptism that I've had and my relationship with God will grow, and having faith in the steps. I turn our will over is a 180 turn, so it's basically, instead of feeling negative all the time, it's about having faith in the program, like I say, and having faith in my God. And our lives over, sorry, the next one is God for me. I know a lot of people cringe with the word, but, you know, to me personally, you know, I use God as we understood him. I know people cringe with that, but to me personally it is God. I'm not going to be embarrassed about that. That is what it is for me. God's will is trusted, honest, willing, loving, caring, unself-centred, always there for you when you need, happy, serenity, and open-minded. I put a little cross on there because that's what I'm about. So, but I don't need to run through them. But that is what to me God is. You know, if I keep it on God's will, I am practicing these principles of being trusting, of being honest, of being willing, of being loving, of being caring. You know, and being unself-centred, being happy, which we all want to be happy, don't we? Serenity, which we all strive to within the steps, and being open-minded. So step 3 is massive. Self-will, if I run on self-will, which I still do daily, and I have to check myself, I become self-centred. It's all about me. Poor me, Simon, that's what I get. Poor me, I'm in rehab. Poor me, I can't do anything about my missus. Poor me. I get, you know what I mean? I just get on this poor me, and it just does my nappering. Untrustworthy, I become untrustworthy with myself mainly. I start to lie to myself. I start to not trust the programme. I start to, you know, I just become very untrustworthy, you know. Greed, you know, wanting it all now, not leaving it in God's time, not leaving it in Elisha and the peers and my well, it's not responsible like Jay, and leaving it with you guys. So I know when I'm ready to move on, you know. Greed, wanting, it's not just about that, but it's about wanting property and prestige and wanting to be fixed now. you know, wanting more drugs, wanting to fix that inner void, anything at all. It's greed for me. Dishonest again, I have to be careful that I'm being honest with myself, that I'm not being dishonest. As an addict for a lot of years, I was a dishonest, angry, sad, and I was full of disease. I was very poor me, self-centered. You know, anger, you know, I have been angry and I have lashed out at people over the years. I've been angry with myself, I've been angry with my family because of my abuse when I was younger. How could they let it happen to me? Stuff that I'm dealing with my stepfather at the moment, writing about and stuff, but anger, you know, I want to get freedom from this sort of stuff and I want to become, you know, serene and you know, sad for me, it does my head in. Poor me, honestly, that it really does my nappering. The disease, you know, as you know, I do like to say the malady, but I'm going to say the malady, we're doing 12-step working guide. So disease for me is that disease in yourself, that discomfort in yourself, that like I am now a little bit, you know, discomfort in myself. Desperation, you know, the lengths I went to when I used to go to for drugs, worry again, which is a bit like starving self-pity. And to round up the spiritual principles for me, for step 3, of being willing again, being honest, having faith, and for me personally, is God. My